the monetary policy entirely discretionary.
That's right. And not only is there no restriction, the Federal Reserve is now taking over the Treasury Department. They just put their boy Geithner in there under FDR Obama, and he, of course, is the president of the New York Federal Reserve Bank. And the people that have caused the problem are now running the show. And in reality, Washington has been hijacked by Wall Street. Wall Street's running Washington. Washington's not running Washington.
Of course, the government's always been responsive to special interest. I mean, all these regulatory agencies, whether it's the SEC or the Federal Reserve itself, were created in response to private interests. Big banks got the government to create the Federal Reserve System for them. So now they're reaping their rewards, and they're killing the rest of us, however.
That's exactly what's going on. The too big to fail are being saved, and the too small to save are being drowned. It's kind of like the Titanic. The too rich to drown were given the lifeboats, and the too small to save were locked into steerage. Same thing's going on now. And again, this is worldwide. What's going on in Greece with these riots has nothing to do with a 15-year-old boy being killed. That was only the spark that ignited the pent-up, really, hatred and disdain the people have for the scandals and corrupt government of Greece. And the same thing is going on in this country as well. I mean, there's one political scandal after another. And if you look under the desks of all these congressmen and senators, as we're seeing governors, as we're seeing in the news today in Illinois, it's just, it's criminal activity at its highest level.
Well, Gerald, are we going to see riots in this country? Are we going to see tax revolts as happened during the Great Depression?
Yes, absolutely. We're going to see a revolution, and we expect it to happen. Probably this year we'll start seeing some of it.
So what do you think the upshot of that will be? Will they just suppress it? Is that why they're bringing the troops home?
Well, they're going to try to, obviously, and there are all this talk about opening up these detention centers and hiring the goon squads, the Blackwaters, and the rest of them to run them. So these are realities that are going on as we speak. And whether they keep saying that they're opening up these detention centers in the event of migrant problems, but of course it's much bigger than that. I mean, it's under the Department of Homeland Security, and KBR, the engineering and construction subsidy of Halliburton, had been awarded a $500 million one-year base period to get these national disaster centers up and running. So it's in the cards. They know what's going on, and we're really in a period of off with their heads, and it's going to be the people against the politicians, the new kings and queens of commerce as well.
We have far too big a country, far too big a government, but far too big a country to have one government attempting to rule this vast region. Do you think there's any chance of a breakup of the U.S. in this sort of revolutionary situation?
Yeah, absolutely there is. These secessionist movements are real, and we think they're going to continue.
So there is some hope.
Oh, yeah, and America, is a very flexible and resilient country. We're not being flexible or resilient because Big Brother is taking over. The government now operates and owns the largest insurance companies, the largest mortgage company. They're going to be owning a piece of the auto industry. So, it's a fight against the totalitarian government. You could call it communist, when a state-owned monopoly runs everything, or you could call it fascist, or you could call it socialist. But the one thing you cannot call it is free market enterprise. So, there's going to be rebellions, and, things may change for the better if we break up with these criminal governments that are in place now. And I don't say that lightly. The war in Iraq is being fought for false reasons. Whether or not they knew it was false is an academic question. The reality is it's false. So under the moral code that I was raised in my religion as a Catholic, killing people, innocent people, for fake reasons is a crime, as is robbing people blind, as they're doing now with these bailouts and other types of criminal activities that are just stealing. So until that system changes, nothing will change.
Well, certainly while Saddam Hussein